Election Day is next Tuesday. It's important, even in an off election year, to vote on important issues and positions that directly affect you and your family. But right now, less than 20% of Colorado voters have turned in their ballots. Here to help break down some of the ballot questions is 9 News legal analyst Whitney Traylor. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Corey. Good morning to all the Colorado voters.
Yes, this is so important. So every county has its own elections and individual ballot measures, but there are a few statewide ballot measures. Tell us about those.
Yeah, real quickly, there's the three I wanted to focus on. Proposition 119, which would really increase the recreational marijuana sales tax by 5%. So it would go up to 20% from 15. That money would go to these enhanced educational programs for early childhood education and things like that. The proponents of it say, hey, we need new programs. This is going to generate $87 million. Opponents are saying, no, we have enough programs. We don't need a new program. Proposition 120, it's just a property tax assessment rate reduction. So if Proposition 120 passes, homes, the property tax would go from down to 6.5% from 7.15. And on commercial properties, it would go down to 26% from 29%. And then finally, Amendment 78, this simply says, when various agencies get money, for example, the Colorado Attorney General is getting money from a Purdue settlement, all of those monies that go to specific agencies would then go to the Colorado legislature, and they would have control over those funds. So that's what Amendment 78 says. Some say, hey, that's a partisan ploy. Others say it will create accountability. So those are the three statewide measures.
All right. Appreciate you breaking that down. So one of the more contentious issues in Denver is not only on the ballot, but is being litigated. What is going on with 303 in the hearing later today?
Right. Initiative 303 is really interesting. This is a Denver issue. And so in Denver, they had the homeless camping bans and the sweeps, and there was all this litigation around it. Well, Initiative 303 was actually proposed by the head of the Republican Party in Colorado that would require the city to respond to any homeless encampments within 3 days of the complaint. But interestingly, that could be citizens that made those complaints. Now, the city is saying, well, wait a second, there was a federal lawsuit. We have to give 7 days notice. So today at 2:00, actually, there is going to be an emergency hearing down at Denver District Court. I'm going to go watch the oral arguments between the city and the folks proposing 303. So it's going to be interesting whether the court says, no, you can't do this because it would violate the federal law. So it's going to be interesting what happens on 303 for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So the election is in just a few days. Too late to mail ballots, but folks can still drop off in person or they can go and vote in person at more than 400 drop-off locations that are available. We put all those locations on our website and our 9 News app. But Whitney, some voters don't get excited about these local elections in non-presidential years. What do you say to folks who don't participate in these elections because they feel they're not as important as the major federal elections?
That's a great question. And it's really important when we look at the Colorado electorate that is informed and is fairly active, and we have less than 20%, and we're 3 days out from or 5 days out. Yeah, that's concerning. And a lot of folks, you hear the statement, all politics is local. And some people would say these municipal elections are even more important than the federal elections because they impact our day-to-day lives, stop signs, stop lights, infrastructure, things like that. And it's also really important, folks, because these are elections that involve elected officials that we can actually access. You can go talk to your state legislator a lot easier than you can, your U.S. congressperson or your U.S. senator. You can go to city council hearings every Monday and actually go and talk to the council members. So these municipal elections are fundamentally important, folks. You can get your ballot, drop it off by Tuesday. Even if you haven't registered, you can go and register in person. So everybody get your ballot, spend a few minutes, look through it and get it in by Tuesday.
Yeah, I always say if you want a voice at the table, you got to vote. You can't sit there and complain about the way things are and things not changing if you don't put in your vote.
That's exactly right. And there's so few people voting in this election, it almost amplifies your vote because it's less people participating. So Let's make it happen, folks.
Boy, is that true. Whitney, as always, great seeing you. Thank you so much.